So if you watch my recent video, I did say that I was going to dedicate a video to someone who I feel has shifted the landscape when it comes down to what it means to build in public and what it means to build a personal brand to take things to a whole new heights, right? So I wanted to give my flowers to Emma, the founder of Plantmade. And with what she's been able to do over the course of the last few years is nothing short of incredible. And for this particular video, I really wanted to do the utmost best to really showcase the successes and the achievements and to really just to really highlight and pinpoint what it really means to build in public and what it means to document to the point where you build something bigger than yourself. And with what Amma did with Plantmade, right, is it's crazy when you think about it. Like honestly, I remember when I first purchased the bottle, one of them early when it was just planted, like early doors. If you know about Plantmade before everything, it was planted. And I remember I purchased a bottle of the first product for my mum as well. And for that, the support goes way back to be fair, because honestly speaking, if we bring it all the way back, she was the first person I invested money in. She was running a sort of audit particular session with just how to audit on the business side of things as well. Back when I was running my music blog, and the lessons that she taught me then are some of the stuff that I still very much incorporate with what I do now. And really and truly, I think just seeing the journey for what she has done for not only herself, not only her immediate family and circle and her community, but I would say for a lot of Black British people, I believe that she really shifted what it means to build a brand and build a business for Black people in this country, I would say personally. And it really just goes from the point of the way that she showcased the story from the beginning, from starting the business Plant Made with what the last £100 to her name to turn it into what an eight-figure business, right? And it's crazy. It's crazy what she has accomplished over the years. And I watched the interview with Rochelle Humes earlier this evening, and you know me, I always say when I get inspired to do content, I need to watch something and it just gets me inspired to just turn the camera on and speak and just share my thoughts and share my opinions. So, with what I'm going to do actually, and I should have done this earlier, but I'm going to read through a post that I saw that she posted. I think it was a couple weeks ago, but all of what she says rings very much true. And then I'm just going to kind of share my thoughts based on the actual interview and just my kind of opinions on more or less all the parts that was covered. So if you see me looking at my screen, it's because I took notes because I was really fascinated with the actual interview. And whilst I look for the actual post that I wanted to share with you guys and read through, for me, despite any of the sort of rumors or some of the debates online or, you know, not necessarily having both sides of the story at the same time, I do think that regardless of the situation at hand, I still think that this whole situation is incredibly important for all of us, for all of us that are looking to build businesses, who are looking to build brands, who are looking to, build things that are bigger than ourselves. We can learn an awful lot from the process of what it means to be able to have a business, and take things to new heights, and also to understand the obstacles that may be present throughout the journey, because we've seen it in real time now that is not easy to bootstrap. In fact, it's not easy to start a business, and it's not even easy to bootstrap a business and really use your own money like that to really take it to the level that she took it to as well. And when you think of that, then you really start to really consider the amount of weight that would have been put on her to perform, right? And I think when it comes down to business, like it's not for everyone. Like it has, you have to be sort of either chosen, or you just decide ultimately that this is going to be the path for you, because you can't imagine doing anything else. And with that, you learn on the job, and you learn despite all the obstacles that are put your way to improve and do better. And one of the things that Emma said in the interview, she said that she's seen the life cycle of a business, right? And for me, that is absolutely valid and incredible to even think that a life cycle of a business is like there's ups and downs to the highest degree. And to have the battle scars in the process of going through that, and you get through it despite the fact that, you know, she's no longer the owner of Plantmade. She's been there and she's built something so incredible from nothing, literally, like honestly, from nothing. And I really feel I want to find this particular post. There we go, I found it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share this post, and I'm just going to have a quick read through, because I think this is incredibly important, and I'll share my insights on the actual interview. So, oh, let me move my screen. There we go. So by 29, I'd built, scaled, and lost a business that reached 8 figures. When I shared the news, the main comment was, "I can't wait to see what's next for you." What most people didn't see was this: I had already built what was next in public over time. For 5 years, I documented the highs and lows of being a first time founder, the wins, the pressures, the mistakes. That visibility became leverage. I'm watching a millennial career reset happen in real time. People pivoting, changing industries, starting again. Starting over is fine, starting from scratch is expensive. When you build your career in public, you create continuity. You grow in your role, you stay relevant between roles. I shifted into B2B creator work and now advise brands and founders on how to scale a business with attention, stronger business models, and community. That shift did not start from zero. It started from accumulated trust. Your personal brand is not vanity, it is leverage. And the future for me, new ventures, advising brands and founders, helping underrepresented founders access funding, networks, and raw resources. Because talent is everywhere, access is not. Leverage changes that. And for me, when I saw that, I thought that was incredibly powerful. And it really reinforces how much a personal brand can really change the trajectory of your life, right? And through the process, and I said this in my previous video, when you build your brand, and you build to the point where if things do not go to plan necessarily, you're not falling all the way back to zero. You may fall back to 40, you may fall back to 50, 60, or even 70, based on how powerful you've really set the foundations for yourself, and how powerful you set your brand to the point where the fall isn't as far as you think, because you really set the groundwork for yourself, right? And if I just go through my notes, so what I picked up from the interview is that for me, she showed a lot of class and a lot of decorum. because I won't lie, that position is very much difficult for everyone, right? In that situation, and for her to share her experiences and her story is something that would have taken a lot, I imagine. So she deserves honestly so much flowers for that level of class in that moment as well, despite the sort of initial sort of content that we saw prior to this interview, right? And with the idea of pivoting is something that really stood out to me from what she mentioned in that particular interview as well, because like like I said, when I invested my first bit of money to work with her to help me with auditing my website, years went on and I went on to write an ebook to help PR graduates who left university and they were having trouble finding work following the pandemic. I wrote an ebook and it was a free download for students. And she kindly contributed to that book as well and shared her expertise early on before I even decided I wanted to pivot into being a brand authority strategist, before I even decided to even leave my job, right? Before all of that. And before that, it all came down to me seeing her. I first started seeing her on a podcast that she used to run. It was called Rice at Home Podcast, and it was years ago. So to see the level of growth and the level of success that she's achieved, it for me it was a no-brainer. I thought it was always due to happen, because the podcast alone, for those who would have watched it or listened to it, in fact, because I believe it was an audio only podcast at the time. But the way that she spoke on business and the idea of wanting to do more for herself and to achieve big things in her life, she effectively spoke it into existence. She spoke it into existence to the point where when Plantmade became her baby, her thing that she was able to grow as a business, then things just grew very rapid for her at a fast rate. And it was amazing to see, from when you see someone starting from sort of humble beginnings, but they spoke everything that they wanted into their lives. And for me, that's powerful stuff. And I feel that even to see what she has been able to do over the last few years has inspired people like myself, I would say, to emulate elements of her success through how she documents and showcases her brand, through the storytelling, through the content creation that she produces, through the honesty and transparency, through the ups and downs, right? And a lot of that, it does play a big part into what I've been doing with myself and in dropping this long form content every day, because it it goes to show that with you documenting and showcasing your story and building your personal brand in public, nothing can stop you, really and truly. Nothing can stop you. And for her to keep going despite a setback like that just goes to show the woman that she is and what she's more than capable of doing 10 times over. You understand what I mean? And I think that level of tenacity and that level of determination is something that we all can be inspired. We can all be inspired from the work that she's been doing and the work that she's done. And I feel that she's left a blueprint for many of us to emulate and to follow and to do it in our own unique ways, right? And then I think another thing that I mentioned, or that's in my notes as well, is that the idea of having too much on your plate when it comes down to business as such. And then she did mention that for everyone, it was the first time doing something like this. No one had that prior sort of experience or those battle scars, as it were, to advise and to guide during the time. So when I believe anyway, you're able to build something from nothing, literally. I don't imagine why there would be that sort of thought in your head that there needs to be a sort of additional sort of counsel or advice or support when you're doing it. You're doing it, you're seeing the growth, and you know that through the process of getting these things arranged, then it can only improve. And I suppose it's only just due to external circumstances why things didn't necessarily go to plan, right? You need to check out the interview if you haven't checked out the interview. Because for this video, I'm just talking, I'm not doing a reaction video. It was me just like, you know what, I need to do a video whilst it's still very much fresh in my head and I can get the content out and share it with you guys. So I would recommend to check the content out. And that's the one thing as well, I believe, as we need to be watching the content from start to finish before we come up with our own conclusions, because very often I see loads of like comments and loads of sort of stories based on just posts that of people who haven't even watched the full content, and they've effectively jumped to conclusions before being able to effectively listen to the content that's available. I've listened effectively to both sides from different podcasts to get to this point where I'm sharing the video. I didn't want to jump the gun because it wouldn't have made sense, and it wouldn't be fair in that sense to not hear the full experience before kind of sharing my approach, right? Um so yeah, I said she gave a community a blueprint on how to grow and build, and now I think of it, to sustain a brand, because now she can go on to do whatever she wants to do, and it is through the experience of documenting everything and documenting the process, the ups and downs, as I mentioned, to the point where the everyone knows her and trusts her, and they know that she has so much wealth of knowledge and insight. It can benefit any first time founder, because what we all need to understand when you are building something from scratch, like even for myself, doing what I'm doing, documenting my process, dropping daily long form content, working on building my agency, working on building my community, that is something that is going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of discipline, and a lot of faith and courage and determination. All those things, that's what it's going to take. And then what I picked up from the interview, which I thought was really something that reinforced what I'm doing for myself, is that she said that I picked my crazy, you pick yours. And with that in business, right, there's going to be so many ways of doing things. In some way, it's very much somewhat similar to raising a child, right? Not every child is going to be raised the same. There's going to be different ways that you will do things to get the same desired result, right? That saying, there's multiple ways to skin a cat. In that sense, there's so many ways that you can do business, or you can do certain things in business. The most important thing is just accepting that building anything from scratch, literally in your brain, and making it something tangible, a tangible asset at that, is crazy in itself. It is absolutely bonkers in my head, even though I'm in the process of doing the same thing regarding turning a idea into reality. The process is very, very bonkers. And that's why I laughed when she said that I picked my crazy, you pick yours, because there's so many sort of critics of what it means to just live life and how to navigate life. But you pick what you're doing and I'll pick what I'm doing. And funny enough, when I heard that, it just made me think about what I'm doing with my content and dropping the 1,000 videos, one video a day for 1,000 days. And a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy. They look at me like I've lost my marbles, and maybe I have, but at the same time, I'm sticking to my crazy. You focus on your crazy, and then we can just do what we need to do, because there's going to be a reasoning as to why we are doing this thing this way, or why we chose to do things this way, or why we chose to take that step in that journey. And I would say, without a shadow of a doubt, it is people like Amma being one example who has showed the process of what it means to do that. And as I always say in my videos and my content, it was the idea of the fear that was blocking me from wanting to produce said content, or putting myself out there, or, really just giving it a go. It was that fear of failure. It was that fear of failure that was kind of setting me back in that side of things. And what also resonated from my notes as well is that she said a lesson that she learned is that she never betrayed herself in the process, and that's the thing that she's proud of the most. And I think that's amazing when you can leave something knowing that you stuck to your guns and you kept true to yourself. That's all you can ever ask for in this life, man. Just to be certain with yourself and just know that you've never betrayed yourself or your level of thinking. And you know, and she's done a lot. She sacrificed a lot in terms of maintaining the structure that allowed people to keep their jobs and those sort of things. And I don't even know how to get even started with the idea of having to cover payroll for so many people as well. And it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress, and it's a lot of demands on a daily basis, on a day-to-day basis. So with everything that's sort of occurred in the process, I'm just pleased that she was able to drop a interview like this where she showed that she was very much, maybe not necessarily completely over it, but she's seen the other side where everything is looking a lot more brighter for what can happen in the near future. And then, as mentioned, with the fact that she's seen the life cycle of a business, not many people in this lifetime would ever say that they've actually been through a whole life cycle of a business, to the point where now, if when they decide to launch a new business or they decide to do something new, they're more than war ready. They're ready to tackle it head on because they learned from everything. And then in the final bits towards the end of the interview, she really reinforced the fact that don't look at these things as something to feel ashamed about, or something that makes you feel less than, because for her, she felt like she completed like an MBA, just going through the process of doing all this stuff as well. And I would say that she did. I would say that she did, and she's definitely done more than that, I would say, with what she's been able to do and the process. And in fairness, as people watching from the outside in, we would never understand the full scope of how intense it would have been for her. But throughout the whole process, like I said, she kept it classy. The level of decorum, like, is honestly inspiring, and we can learn a lot. We can learn a lot from her and how she's been able to maneuver over these last few months. And me personally, I just wish her all the very best, because despite everything that's happened, I think she may not even necessarily realize what she's done for not even just myself per se, but a lot of, you know, black men and women in the UK who are wanting to do things different, are wanting to take those chances and wanting to take that risk, but that fear or that sort of thing in their head is stopping them from just doing it, from just getting up and giving it a go. And now that I'm in this sort of space and I'm doing this sort of content and I'm working on building business on my own terms as well, it is women like Amma that inspire me every day, that make me feel like, you know what, it's possible for myself. Just keep going regardless, that there's nothing that's going to stop me. Like, I'm the only person that can effectively stop me, you know what I mean, in terms of that. And she paid the cost of embarrassment. And I think that's one thing that it took a long time for me to get over in my head, that you have to, the cost of entry is embarrassment. The cost of entry to get to anything you want to do greater than what you're at now is through embarrassment. Like I said, when I do some of my videos, sometimes I may mispronounce something or I get something wrong, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. No one has been harmed or hurt themselves in the process of me mispronouncing the word. It's okay. We all survive and live, you know what I mean? And that is how we have to take it moving forward when it comes down to doing these things, because there's always going to be critics, man. There's always going to be people that have things to say, whether it's good or bad. Like I said in my previous videos, it's your responsibility to just keep it neutral. Anything that's bad, you take it with a pinch of salt. Okay, you keep it moving. Anything that's particularly positive, you show love. Thank you very much. Don't take it too deep in the head. Just acknowledge it. Keep it in neutral. Just keep going regardless. And that's what I would say when doing these things. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge that these things are going to be cringy, they're going to be embarrassing, and it's going to take a lot for you to get over it. But once you get over it and you're on the other side, then for me, I feel like that's on the winning side, because you just don't care anymore. You just don't care, because there's no point to care, because what you are building and what you're doing is some historical legacy sort of stuff, right? Something that we may have not seen before. And it wouldn't have been something that we've seen before because it's the first time that you're doing it. So, from a first time founder perspective, I found all of the stuff said in the interview incredibly inspiring. And I think I'll leave it with this last part where what she said regarding that the business itself may have been acquired, but her brain hasn't been acquired. And for me, I think that hit the nail on the head, man. I think that reinforced the importance of continuous learning, always refining your skills, always developing, always trying new things, because through the experiences that you go through throughout your life, no one can physically take away all of your experiences and all of your stories, your successes, your lessons, your highlights, your throughout your whole career, your business, all those things that solidify who you are, that allow you to keep on being a winner. No one can take it away from you. And I feel that with that mentality, it's allowed us to see how much of a winner Amma is, because she's continued to keep progressing regardless, keep moving, keep making those steps and moving towards where she wants to get to. And with that, the vision may look a bit different, but the idea of the end goal, I believe, for her hasn't changed. It's just pivoted to a new sort of direction. So all in all, I think that's my thoughts for this particular video, man. I think it was really just to dissect what I learned in the process of watching it, but then also to give Amma her flowers for everything that she's done for the community, for myself. Like, it's the whole idea of leading by example and doing that. So even for myself, if I can even get to an ounce of the level that she was at to inspire a generation, inspire a community, and inspire first time founders or even people that are not even in business to start something new, to start something that inspires them to just break out of whatever's kind of holding them back from living their life, the life they want to live, or moving towards their goals and their dreams and their ambitions. For me, I'll be thrilled, man. I'll be thrilled. But then that stuff is just the process of doing. You got to do the thing before the sort of return of that gets to that level or that stage as well. So, with me, there's no rush, man. I'm here for 1,000 days, so we're locked in. So you'll be seeing me a lot more. And, as far as branding goes, I would say she's got one of the best brands in the game, man. It's impeccable personal brand, honestly speaking. Um, that's it, man. I think that's it for the day. I'm gonna call it a night and go to bed. But on that note, Yeah, big up Emma each and every time. And yeah, man, well deserved. Hope to see you soon as well and give you your flowers in person as well and let you know that, yeah, we've seen the content, we've seen what you've been doing, the journey, and yeah, wishing you all the best for the future. And yeah, on that note, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the whole situation, I would say. Let me know what you've learned from the situation from a business perspective and how you plan to build your brand off the back of having a clearer understanding of seeing it in real time, what it means to solidify a brand. So when things don't necessarily go to plan, then you still have something to fall back on, which is your brand, which can take you to all sorts of places and all sorts of opportunities. You just got to get started as soon as possible. I'm fortunate where I've managed to find the confidence in myself to start this year because the personal branding deadline is coming up. I told you guys already, the 30th of November 2027. We don't have much time to waste. And I don't want you to guys to fall behind. So please like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And make sure you check out all my other previous videos regarding brand authority, marketing, and PR as well. So yeah, that's all it for today. I will catch you tomorrow. Look after yourselves. Peace out. Blessings.